You're listening to a Bay of Islands Radio original podcast.
Incoming transmission.
Beam aboard for another episode of Sunday Night Geek, live from the Bay of Islands radio studio in Warninger, Newfoundland. Find us online at boir.ca and by subspace transmission 100.1 FM or on Rogers Channel 9. Join our hosts, Angel Sky Cosplay, Sean the Tech Ninja, and the Big Dirty Nerd as they travel through time and space, review all the nerd news this week, talk about things nobody ever talks about, and answers questions no one asked. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Sunday Night Geek. I am the Big Dirty Nerd, and we've got Angel Sky.
Hello.
And Sean the Donut Eater.
Hi. Yeah, I've had like 2, 3. Nope. 4.
He's had 4 already.
I watched you guys and I put on weight. Like, how do you do that?
We didn't
What?
do very much
one.
there.
Okay, shut up.
We did like a little one of those frozen cannelloni pans where you throw in the oven and there's like these
10 seconds in and we're into
No,
food.
but you just said like I can't see how.
Talking about food.
But yeah, no, we didn't eat very much today.
we
We're
didn't
just, like,
eat
picking.
very much today.
Oh, see, I did. I'm completely the opposite of
I
that.
ate like 8 pizza pops at work yesterday.
I had a wrap for lunch, and then I came home and had 2 big bags of Doritos.
well, it's all about balance. Like I said yesterday at work.
Oh, there was balance.
Well, yesterday at work I had 8
Yeah,
packs
Doritos
of,
are mostly air.
Yeah,
So.
I had 8 pizza pops, 2 chocolate bars. Aaron's drinking 2 of those iced teas.
Holy
I was there,
Lord.
but I was there for like 14 hours.
He was there for like a lot.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit
That was
different.
like a whole day.
Yeah,
I went down a little bit early. I was actually a lot
then,
faster at the store, and then went to work, and then cleaned up because I had people staying a little bit late because they were finishing their drinks. and
Okay,
everything,
right on.
I
Yeah.
worked
We,
all no clubs.
Yeah. While he was gone to work, I had buttered chicken lasagna
Nice.
You can get it
Nice.
actually at the
at the store.
At Dominion, yes.
Frozen
I've seen it there, and I want to pick it up.
It
but,
is.
Yeah, it's
uh,
actually really good.
Yeah,
It's
but
not- it's
my
not hot
significant
at all.
other is not a fan
but
of
you know what?
anything like that.
But
No.
what you should do is you make it for yourself one night. Like make
Yeah.
it for yourself,
You can
like
even do it in the microwave,
whatever,
these things.
and then have the rest for lunch the next day.
Yeah.
I could do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's
I
not
could-
very
I
big.
could
It's
enjoy
like
that.
it's like it's enough for like really 2 people or 2 meals.
Right. Okay, so this is our, I guess what we're going to tangle our Christmas episode.
Tingle Bells
We don't
episode.
really do a Christmas kind of episode. We
No.
just like to talk about geeky things we've gotten in the
And
past or
getting
things that are
towards the
coming
year-end.
up. Or so if anybody's got anything out there they want to share with us with gifts you may have gotten when you were younger or gifts you might be getting this year.
Especially, like, say, like you're a nerdy kid and got a radio kit or something like that.
Yeah,
or
something
a
like
science
that.
Kit,
Give us a call at...
Shrinky Dinks.
632-5555.
And we'll get you on air. Now, in the meantime, while we're waiting for
And-
people to call in...
If you call in, you will get...
No, I don't know.
The Baylor, don't we
I don't know. I don't know if we have any left. So
that's right, too. Crap, I never did check.
Yeah,
so
so-
disregard that.
yeah, disregard that.
Because we were doing that, but I don't know what our stock is like now.
Right.
But, sorry, you were saying?
I don't know now.
Call in.
Call in.
Christmas
I don't
gifts
know.
that we got.
I don't know. Something like that.
I said radio kit, science.
While we're waiting for people to call in, we're going to catch everybody up quickly on what was on this week and what news came out of the geek world. But the majority of this episode is going to be spent on Spider-Man No Way Home. And if you have not seen this movie,
Go see it.
Go see it, number one.
Goosebay even had it.
Turn it off. Turn the show
unfortunately-
off
Yep.
because we are going to spoil this.
Unfortunately, I have to put this out there that half the part of the province is not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Why?
Or if they
Lockdown
do,
Central.
then they're going to have to see it like
Tonight.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think the showing's already probably over by now.
Goosebay's had it. Goosebay had it opening tonight, actually.
No, they still got time to go to the late show tonight.
Go to the late show if there is a late show.
If there is a late show. Yeah, and that's because,
yeah.
of course, the new COVID-19 protocols came out this
I know.
afternoon during a surprise, unscheduled COVID briefing.
Ours
So
are the same as
Central's
they announced Friday,
Central's
but,
being
yeah.
locked down and
And,
mandatory travel, blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
so we're slowly
Unfortunately.
getting back to crappy times.
Yeah, right.
Just in time for Christmas.
Just in time for Christmas. How? Look at that, right?
Well, that's how it works.
Jeff, real quick, how many turkeys you got in your freezer? Any?
Big fat zero.
Big fat zero?
Oh, we have 2.
We have 2. Mike's got 1.
We we go out for turkey. We don't.
Oh, okay. We don't make it.
You aren't the cookers of the turkey. You're the consumers of the turkey.
We've done turkey in the past and had people over and stuff like that, but it seems like we go to mom's for Christmas dinner, which is turkey, and then we go down to significant others' home for turkey the day after that. So we just got turkeyed out. So we're like, whatever.
One thing I'm going to do, because where we got like
we're hosting for Christmas this year.
What we like doing, especially if we have all the ingredients on hand, I'll grab a pack of bacon out of the fridge, then cook it up like on Boxing Day, and then we'll have like
Clubhouse turkey sandwiches.
Oh, nice.
So
so
like,
with real turkey
and ham,
and that's the best. Yeah,
real turkey and ham.
Nice.
Just throw it all together.
That is awesome.
And bacon.
Not like clubhouses you get at a restaurant where it's all pressed garbage.
Yeah. Actually, the first Christmas we had in the house there, that's what we did for Boxing Day. We watched the first Rock Jumanji film and had that. And we didn't have any bread, so I had to make a little loaf and do it in the oven.
Cool.
Which was fine, but yeah, it was great.
So let's kick off our Christmas discussions real quick here. So we'll start with you, Sean. What was one of the geekiest things you might have gotten for Christmas?
I had one of those electronics kits from back in the day. The ones with like the interlocking parts, and you just make your own little traces and everything, and here and there. But I had one of those animator etch-a-sketches where it was like an etch-a-sketch where you can actually do different frames and animate like 12 frames.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
They're not too expensive on eBay. I'm kind of tempted. Like, I don't know whatever happened to it. I went away to college and Mom cleaned out my room, and I think it was a casualty because it was a little dot matrix screen back in the 80s, like little square pixels, and you could make little different animations.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was like 87, 88.
Nice.
Besides that, like, you get your usual toys and things like that. I can't really think of anything that was like, except for like, the toy of the year kind of thing you get usually.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the same with me. I don't know if I would say like, oh my God, geeky thing, but we always got like the toy of the year.
We got NES in like 89.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So we got one too.
The toy of the year and things. One Christmas I did get one of the Wheel of Time books.
Okay, and of course
that's series right now on Prime.
Now on Prime, yeah.
And a couple years ago, my parents actually gave me Game of Thrones puzzle, like 3D puzzle.
Oh, nice!
It was like the globe, and then you got like 3 little dragon eggs that are like it was like a 3D puzzle you put together.
Right, nice. Yeah. I like that. Yeah,
it was really cute.
Yeah, I one of the things I got for Christmas one year was a Star Trek trading card with Captain Kirk on it, that was all encased in like the Pyrex. Card cases and mounted on a wood board and stuff. I got that from a friend of mine. And I still have it. I love it.
And you also got something else I remember one year. Also a Game of Thrones thing.
Oh, I got a sword.
You did?
Yeah.
I remember that year.
And you know what? It's not up on the wall anymore.
What?
Yeah. I got to put that back up on the wall.
You do?
Because that was like one of the highlights of my collecting career, quote-unquote career.
You know what I saw? I was out shopping the other day. And I saw the Winter Soldier Captain America like shield.
Really?
Like the big, like it was blue and silver one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was like that replica like one.
Yeah. Nice. Where'd you see that though?
Can't say.
Why not?
Because I can't.
I want to know.
I'll tell you later.
All right.
I'll tell you later because I can't say because then people might know what they got for Christmas.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right. Sounds good. Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
What is it? One year, though. I remember my brother got one of those radio kits and that, too. And he had to go. It was in, like, Lexan or something. You had to drill the holes and everything mounted in. And, like, there was a couple buttons, like, you had to make the casing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Radio Shack was always fun.
He got, like, DIY stuff.
Yeah.
I remember one year, though, I had this little yellow and black little robot. And you pull down his arm with a coin there, and he'd lob the coin in his mouth. Chew it like that.
I remember that.
Oh, I remember that guy.
I had the Radio Shack version, but you can buy them on eBay as well as a Takara version. But they're little.
A friend of ours has
a
friend of ours has the kitty cat version where it's like a little box.
Yeah.
And you put the coin on, and the cat comes out and goes and like steals it.
Yeah, I've seen those. They're all pretty cool.
They're very cute.
Yeah, they're really cool. Okay, so let's do the.
Given a gag gift though.
And then yesterday, what did we do yesterday, Jeff?
Nothing.
Yes, you did. For a whole day.
Oh.
I did nothing. What are you talking about?
Well,
I was not dressed up as Santa Claus at Western Pet Supply.
Western Pet Supply had Santa down there.
We had Santa Paws down at Western Pet Supply, and we had a lot of pets come through.
Yeah, that's good.
A lot of pets.
I was passing along to a lot of my friends, too.
Yeah, we had a lot. I was really surprised. There was a span of about probably 3 hours where it was just nonstop. Like we didn't
when we left, there was a white kitty going in.
Oh, yes.
He's adorable.
And you know what? We had a lot of cats come through. We had about 25 cats come through.
Good, because you know how to hold cats.
I know how to hold cats. And they were really good. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I love doing that, and of course, it's all all for a good cause. What it is the
for the SPCA.
No, not just for the SPCA. It gets distributed through all the local rescues.
Oh.
Yeah. I believe.
Oh.
It better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I did it.
Oh. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good cause, and I really enjoyed doing that. So
We brought Toby down.
You guys brought Toby down. He didn't recognize me though.
No.
Not a bit. Not a bit. He was like, "Who are you? I don't know who you
I
are."
don't know who you are. It was all the hair. He didn't recognize all the hair.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was a good boy. He sat there.
He stood up in me day while I was decorating the tree.
Oh yeah.
He said, "What's that?" And he picked out one spot. I was like, "What are you sniffing at?" I had two icicles right side by side, and I didn't realize. And he picked out the one spot where I had two ornaments like identically side by side.
He's a smart boy.
Smart boy.
So what's this here for?
That's not for you.
That's not for you.
You know.
He's a
There you
good
go. Cuddles.
He's a good boy. He got cuddles. Okay, so let's do our recap now so we can jump into the spoilerific Spider-Man review.
Okay.
So, Flash Armageddon is the only thing that I really watched this week. Yeah. It kind of redeemed itself. Hello. Hello.
He's like,
Okay, buddy.
Folks at if anybody's watching on Rogers TV, they're right now seeing Toby just stood
I'm
up
being
and,
sexually assaulted by a
No, he's not.
dog.
You know he's being lovingly
he's
assaulted by a
being-
doggy. And giving a
he's
kisses.
being a good boy.
He's being a good boy.
He just wants cuddles. You trying to get cuddles? You want to be on the radio?
Come
What you got to say?
Come here.
What you got to say? What you got to say?
Here, Toby. Say something.
You gonna say something? No.
And I get nose boobs at like 20 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, Flash was kind of.
He was like, "Don't talk
it
about
brought
Flash."
itself back up though a bit.
It did. It hit its low point in episode 4 and the part 4 arc of the or part 4 of the arc, but it came back.
I wonder if we're gonna like. He gave Damien that thing to go off to get to see his daughter before he fizzles back out, so to speak.
Yep.
So, what if we will get to see that at some point on the other ends? Like,
Probably not.
Legends.
Okay, Legends, yeah.
Oh, I never got to watch it yet. There was a trailer. Apparently, they did a season 7 teaser, and there's going to be new members
For Legends?
yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, Flash was. Yeah, it wasn't the worst.
It wasn't
It's
the
just
worst.
They still need to work on it. Kind of thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like Flash is still one of those shows that it's like, I've stuck it out this long. I'll continue
Keep
to watch
going.
it, but it's not something I would say to someone jumping into the series. It's like, yeah, you got to watch Flash this week.
Was
Yeah,
that the
no.
only DC show this week?
I think so.
I think so.
I can't think of anything else.
But there was a Marvel show this week.
Hawkeye was so good. Hawkeye was so good.
Big spoiler. At
Yeah.
the end, we get to see, although it's grainy, a picture of Wilson Fisk.
We get to see Wilson Fisk.
Yep.
Right at the end.
Vincent D'Onofrio playing Wilson
Vincent
Fisk.
D'Onofrio, yeah.
They had the thing in Fat Man Motors
Yeah.
or whatever.
As soon as I
The
saw
big guy.
Fat Man used auto sales, I was
Yeah.
like, they're leading up to the
Because he said
Kingpin.
the big guy, and Angela's like, "Who's the big guy?" I was like, "Ooh, wait, this is New York."
This is
big
New
guy, and
York.
then I saw Fat Man. I was the same way. He's like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's it. So Kingpin is in the Marvel universe, in the
Yeah.
MCU. So that was a nice little drop.
Not just at the Netflix Kingpin.
The Netflix Kingpin, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little drop. Well coordinated.
Good
We'll
thing
get
is
it.
we
We'll
don't
get
have-
into that.
We don't have to do friggin' origin stories or anything. We saw all that stuff if you watched Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
We
might as
will
well
get back
just
to Daredevil too on the next
watch.
thing.
That was a. I really liked the series. Well, we watched first season.
First two, because we
First-
got into where Elektra was there and died. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
Lecture. The one with Lecture wasn't that great,
Yeah.
but the first season was really good.
First season of Daredevil was amazing.
Yeah,
I still got to watch
yeah.
Punisher.
You still haven't seen the Punisher
I
series
want
yet?
to
have
sit down and
not.
give it a fair shake and sit down and watch it undisturbed because
Yeah.
it's being there. Now there's even more motivation to watch them all, but we were like, oh, we'll get around to it. And now we have motivation to because it's not just going to be a dead end that's been.
Yeah,
left
no, I
and
don't.
fizzled
I
off.
know. I got to disagree with you. I don't think we're going to see any more of the Punisher.
No?
Way too violent. Way too
Yeah.
violent for Disney Plus. Way too violent.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because I know. Because I mean, we got Venom.
Yeah.
So
I think
you
they're
know.
going to start doing
Pun-
like a Marvel Max. I think they're going to start.
They'd
doing
have to.
Well,
They
that's
would
what
have
I
to.
think. That's what I mean. They're going to
Like,
start.
we're not going to see the Punisher as one of the Disney Plus series.
No,
that's
I think we're going to
out
see
now.
him over on Star.
Yeah, probably. I could see that.
Star is their more touchstone-y kind of
Yep.
grown-up
That
stuff.
I could see.
That's
That
what
I
I'm
could see.
thinking that they're going to do Marvel Max over on Star.
Yep, I could
This
see
is
that.
what I can see them do.
Yep.
because Jessica Jones gets a little bit into areas as a
And,
bit
yeah,
adult,
it does.
but you gotta
Yeah.
more so in ethical ways and that. But that's what I mean. Like,
But Punisher is
Yeah.
like wickedly
Yeah.
violent.
yeah,
Wickedly
that's what I mean.
violent.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, they did that in the comics too. They
Yeah.
made a Marvel Max series for him because it was so violent.
Yeah.
They had to make an imprint for him essentially. So
Pretty much.
they could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The fan support's there, and
They could, yeah.
I guess we'll have to see.
They
Wait
said
and see.
something about there's supposed to be another Marvel series spanning out one of the movies. Or no, that's DC. Sorry, never mind. That's Penguin. I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, the
Batman.
Penguin series out of the Batman. Yeah.
And well, we're supposed to get like a new after Hawkeye. We're supposed to get a She-Hulk series, right?
Coming down the pipes. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so-
Yep. I don't know how soon after, but it's coming.
Before we talk about Spider-Man,
Yep.
they are literally right now as we speak working on that sequel.
Working on Spider-Man
It is
4.
active
Yep.
development since last month.
Yep. When people started, as the release date for Spider-Man No Way Home started getting closer, people were saying Tom Holland's last movie. Tom Holland's last movie.
No.
And Kevin Feige
he-
had to come out and say, no, he's contracted for 3 more
Yeah.
movies with
He
us.
has
Just with
said-
Sony, there's also Marvel appearances.
I
separately.
think what
Yeah.
I think what it was that in an interview he did say that he wanted to do less than he's
he
been
didn't want to
doing,
be in his mid-30s and still playing
Yes.
Spider-Man. Is what he was saying, and people mistook that. I
and
even said,
saying
it's
that he'd like to settle down, have a family, all that
take
stuff.
some time
It's
off.
like
And actors
take
do
some
that.
time off.
But then everybody
And
twisted it around for a hot
realistically, he can afford to.
Yeah.
take. Yeah.
So.
Although some people are bad at keeping secrets.
So apparently, before we get
terribly.
into the actual movie, apparently we were watching an interview where he was doing all the stunt work for No Way Home, and it's in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler. The part where Doc Ock hangs him upside down.
Yep.
Apparently, he after doing that scene, and apparently it took like forever to do. Like they kept wanting, it was like over and over and over and over do it, and so he got out of it. And his twin, he was driving home with because he got a twin brother.
I did not know this.
Yeah, he has a twin brother who does like some of his stunts and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, he was coming home, and he was in the car. And he's like, "Man, what a hard day," and blah blah blah. And he was like, "What are you talking about? You got it easy, la la." And then he got him on the set, and he's like, "Whatever you do to him, make sure he does it upside down."
Oh.
And so he's upside down in a cup. And after he goes, "Man, that was so hard. That was so right." And apparently he was like, "But it's worth it. I can say I was in a Spider-Man movie. It's so cool." And apparently, whatever scene he was in, they cut it from the movie.
No.
He's like, "And I haven't told him yet."
No.
Oh.
I was like,
That's
"Oh."
awful. That's awful. Tom Holland's a jerk. No, he's not. He's actually
No,
really nice. Really
he's not.
nice. So it's 10 to 8 here now. So we're basically we're just going to gush about this movie for the remainder
Right.
of the show. So if you're
Until about 20 after, say.
Yeah. Well,
20 after 8, and then we'll give it
do some
10 minutes
wrap-up.
to do some wrap
yeah,
up.
okay, all right. So we'll go we'll go till about 20 after 8 because there's a lot to cover in this movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want to be spoiled. Flick off now. Go watch something else. Go watch whatever.
Go watch some funny cat videos or
Go watch
something.
some funny cat videos on TikTok or do that like transition thing where it's "I love you for infinity" or whatever. Do that. Do something. Come back at 20 after 8. All right. So spoilers out of the way. We want to make sure everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. Okay, cool. So this movie starts off right at the exact same moment that
Far From Home.
Far From Home
ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was perfect.
Yeah.
Right, like we see Mary Jane's reaction. We
Poor
see
Mary Jane, I
Spider-Man-
think is
Mary
more
Jane.
along the lines of, "I don't like being web slinged around."
Yeah, especially when they go through the subway and she's like, "That was horrible."
Yeah, and then he like leaves her on top of the building.
Yeah.
And walks away from her as he's talking to Ned on the phone.
Yeah,
And then she's
not
like,
building the bridge.
the bridge, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Ah, blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah."
I think that's George Washington Bridge.
Yeah, it was the George Washington Bridge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, so dude, don't do that.
But
don't
then
do that to your
they
girlfriend.
get back to Hideout at the same time as May and Happy are having a discussion.
Break up.
Little breakup going on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
Happy.
Poor Happy was not so happy at that point. So,
That's what I
No.
said.
so May treated it as a fling. Happy thought it was more to it, but for May it was a fling.
For May, it wasn't a serious.
It wasn't a
relationship.
serious relationship.
I
So,
know. Happy got attached.
So that's unfortunate, and that's when it all comes out that
What are you doing?
because at that point they weren't following the news. And that's when it all comes out that Spider-Man's identity has been revealed. Peter Parker. 3 helicopters are hanging around
their apartment.
Outside the apartment. J. Jonah Jameson is a complete dick. Alex Jones is the type of character that he is in this
even
movie.
went right to the body supplements.
Yeah, the Daily Bugle supplements.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
So J. Jonah Jameson is a clickbait artist.
Yeah.
Literally,
for sure.
Literally working out of his basement with a green screen at one point, so that was kind of funny to see that.
Made money fast off of it.
Made money fast off that. He upgraded to a studio with a crew and everything. So, yeah, and so Peter gets arrested.
Yep.
Yep.
Department of Damage Control.
Department of Damage Control, who we saw in the first movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Tyne Daly was in that one.
Yep. Yeah. I love the fact that they've gone back to that well, because Damage Control in the comics was a really underutilized concept after their own miniseries. Yeah. But they do exist. They're out there.
They're actually a division of Stark.
They're a division of Stark, yeah.
They're actually not a government agency.
No, and they're responsible for the cleanup of
that would make sense.
I have one issue where
he just saw our station manager leave.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Saw him outside. He's out. It sounds like he's outside scraping off the deck.
Yeah.
What you see, buddy?
All right. So anyway, Damage Control shows up and arrests Peter.
Yeah.
Come here.
So Peter is desperate, I guess, for privacy now and goes estranged.
No, dude, you're skipping over a major reveal.
Yeah, they. Well, no, but first they go and they're trying to apply for college.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is. And they're trying to get to MIT.
Yeah.
And, well, several schools, but MIT is like their last-ditch, like, we have to get into this one or we're not getting into anything.
Yeah.
And he realizes that because of this and because his 2 best friends are implicated in it.
No, hang on. You're even skipping over even more.
What?
After he gets arrested by Damage Control, he's got a lawyer up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
true. When we see...
It just pans right over to Matt Murdock.
Pans over to Matt Murdock.
Oh, yeah.
And
Charlie Cox from the series.
He's like, how did you catch that? I'm a good lawyer.
Yeah, there's a brick gets thrown through the window.
Mysterio's right. He catches it.
Yeah.
And Peter picked up on it, wasn't it? Or just
Peter picked up on what was going on. Yeah, I think so. But it was kind of neat. Like, I really liked what they did there because on Hawkeye, we get the Kingpin reveal.
Yep.
And in the same week at Spider-Man No Way Home, we get the Matt Murdock reveal.
Yep.
So Kingpin and Daredevil are in the MCU, confirmed, boom, stamp, done.
So the only problem I have with them revealing Matt Murdock at that particular point in time, where the hell was he for the rest of the movie?
Right.
All this major stuff is happening all over.
I got a feeling we're going to get a meanwhile at some point.
Probably. Yeah.
But it's like, where were you? Peter could have used your help as Daredevil.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Marvel to kind of have him cameo next week in
I'm just saying.
Hawkeye.
In Hawkeye. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe.
Well, that's what I said last week.
I'm thinking
maybe we might see him because they were leaning towards it. Now we know that he's there.
And the Hawkeye season finale is a extended episode this week.
Just tell me if this is right or not. Wasn't Nowhere Home take place around Christmas time?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Hawkeye did too.
Yes. So the last couple of scenes of No Way Home actually take place during Christmas. So we might see a little bit of...
Well, especially that was the last scene we saw him around Rockefeller Center and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. So you guys were touching on let's rewind here a little bit.
Yeah.
So you guys were touching on the whole MIT thing.
And Peter realizes that because of him, his friends can no longer get into MIT.
Right.
And they were like, well, that's it. We can't do anything about it. I mean, we can't make people forget.
But then Flash Thompson saves the day for the university. Because he was at the mixer. Flash was at the mixer that tells Peter.
Oh yeah, but that was after.
There's still a whole lot of stuff happening.
Because he saw the lights because she was supposed to take down the Christmas decoration, Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
And he saw the little wizard figure with a hat
that looked a lot like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so it reminded him of Doctor Strange. So then he was like, so then he went to Doctor Strange and was like, "Hey, boy, can you help me out?" But when he gets there to the sanctum.
full of snow.
It's full of snow, and we finally get a reveal on what happened there. So
Somebody left the door open.
somebody left the door open to Siberia.
Well, Strange was gone for 5 years.
Yes.
Because he got snapped out of existence.
Yes.
Because we never did realize what happened on that end.
And I want to go back to that, too, later. We'll talk about
But
that
he
after.
got snapped out of existence for 5 years. So in the meantime,
Wong is the de facto.
took over as Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
And the two people that are in Shoveling Up, isn't that the two from, is that Shang-Chi people?
No.
Who were they two people?
They just look like randos he probably hired from like Siberia to help. Like
That's
they
what
look
I thought,
Siberian
too.
to me.
Yeah, that's what I thought,
'Cause they
too.
look
I thought maybe they were...
They might be. No.
Or maybe they were interns at Comitage
Well,
or something like
Siberians are
Maybe.
Inuit, so
that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are. And so Spotty goes to get Mr. Strange's help. That's Doctor.
yeah.
But even that was too formal. You can call me Steven.
It's weird, but I'll allow it.
That's awkward, but I'll allow
That's
it.
odd, but I'll allow it.
And Strange agrees to cast this spell that will make everybody forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, which I thought was really, really out of character.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that made me go,
Well, afterwards he said, like, we owe it to him. Like, he sees what he's going through with all this fame and everything, what it's doing to his life. And
yeah,
well,
okay.
that's what he was saying, too. He did say that Wong was like, look at him, right? It's
Yeah.
like, he's 17, he's not in college yet, and he's got his whole life ruined for trying to be a hero.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
did
And
make that
realistically, like, even though Wong says don't cast that spell, it's dangerous. And
He's done it before,
Then
apparently.
he says, leave me. He's done it before. And he
Do you
says,
remember such
"Leave
and
me
so?
alone."
Nope.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember the Comitage? What was it? Christmas party or something like that, or a New Year's Eve party? No. Well, there you go. So Strange agrees to cast a spell, and it seems to be actually working
Until Peter
decides to say, "Well, what about MJ? She'll forget too." Oh no, we got to let MJ remember.
He didn't think ahead of time.
He didn't think that's right.
He was adjusting I think what was happening was he was adjusting the spell as he was going.
as Peter's parameters.
Because-
out of existence the people who
He was taking the people out, and he was like, okay, MJ's will remember. Well, then it's got to be Ned. And he's like, okay, we'll take Ned out. And then he was like, oh, but I got to take out my aunt.
Yeah.
And he's like, Peter, you're messing up my spell. Like, you're changing the parameters.
Changing the parameters. And the spell kind of almost started to get wonky, and Strange collapsed it down and contained it.
Because the way it looked, because the way he explained it and the way it unfolds, that spell, you're manipulating reality itself.
Yes.
By either having or eliminating people who are subject to an effect through all of existence.
Yeah.
So that's why he was removing people, and then, went awry and he contained it.
Collapsed it down.
Yes.
And that's when he says to Peter, after he collapses it down and contains it in that weird looking cube thing, and he says to Peter, well, did you talk to them? And Peter goes, what do you mean? I didn't know I could talk to the college admissions.
Slam! You made us do this without even talking to them
even
first?
giving them a call?
You didn't even plead your case.
No.
He literally said that. You didn't even call them to plead your case.
Right, exactly.
Like, he's a doctor. He went to, like, colleges like this. Like, this is exactly what you do. If you get rejected in college, like, especially if it's your college you want, you plead your case.
You plead your case.
So then he went off to find...
So this is when he gets kicked into the sanctum.
Yeah.
And
He
goes
calls
off to
Flash.
Flash. Yeah, he calls Flash and goes and
tells him
tracks down.
he'd swing him to school every day for the next month.
2 weeks. But he had called him his best friend.
He'd call him his best friend.
Yeah.
And so Peter tracks down the admissions officer, which was, or the chancellor or whatever she was, which was kind of cool. And that's when things start going haywire.
Yep.
We see Doc Ock.
Yep.
We do.
And we know exactly from what point Doc Ock got removed from his
reality. Right when he was drowning. The son that he made.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was... Or actually, just before, because he was still evil. He was still under control of the arms. So just before the arm shorted out and he tried to destroy that sun machine thing.
He had it in his hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
He said.
Yeah. So that was kind of neat to see, and they do their whole fight, and that's when Doc Ock realizes that this is not his...
Peter.
He's not his Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Okay, so what the shit is going
And
on?
he ripped the nanites off of Peter.
Off Peter. Yeah,
and then they took over the arms.
Which is why his arms were red and gold for most of the movie.
Yeah.
But it was like, it goes, new device discovered. Pear? Yes.
I thought that was awesome. So we kind of got an answer for why we see a black and gold uniform.
Yeah.
That's his undersuit.
Yeah.
The nanites are actually the blue and the gold and the black and the red. But the black and the gold is his undersuit, his like mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
just the body stocking, essentially.
It was it was the body stocking.
With a few
yeah,
supports.
So that was kind of neat. I really liked that. And then of course Strange gave him that magically enhanced
gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was neat too.
That would be like boom, and like just puts people into cages.
Puts people in the cages, yeah. Yeah. So, I thought that was, that whole fight scene was so well done.
And just as they were finishing, who showed up?
We heard a cackle.
Yeah.
And a pumpkin bomb.
Yeah.
And
they got teleported just as you saw him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin shows up.
Yeah, they had to go Scooby-Doo that shit.
They had to go Scooby-Doo that shit.
Well, they learned what happened was...
Please.
As Strange explained it, what happened was, because of the way the spell worked and the way they bodged it, because it works through the walls of reality, it pulled out a few people from all over existence in other universes.
People that knew who Peter Parker actually
Spider-Man
was.
were the same person.
Instead of forgetting them.
They remembered him.
Yeah.
Or they didn't remember. They brought it was
people,
like a magnet. They were brought to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool. So it really shows in the Marvel MCU how thin the walls between realities actually are, right?
Kirk Connors was also picked up because he had a good little fight with Doctor Strange by the looks of it. That's why he was all beat up looking.
Yeah.
Him and Kirk Connors.
Yeah, because he went and found him in the sewers. He's like, is that a dinosaur?
Then he gets sent to the next one, which he thought was going to be Goblin, but it turned out to be Electro. From the Amazing Spider-Man
From the
universe.
Amazing Spider-Man, from that particular universe.
At the same time was being aided by Sandman from the first series universe. Thomas Hayden Church.
Spider-Man was being aided by him. Yes, because Thomas Hayden, or that version of Flint Marko,
Ted...
his only motivation in the Spider-Man 3 movie was to get to his daughter, to provide for his daughter.
Yeah,
he wasn't really a bad guy.
It was based on duress,
Yeah, he wasn't really a bad guy.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right?
Yeah.
But he recognized right away, hey, Spider-Man, hey, Peter, because he knew who Peter was, but then he said, oh, you're not my Spider-Man. He said, I am a Spider-Man from blah, blah, and he explains.
Yeah.
And right away, Electro knows where he's to because he says, your energy is different.
It tastes different.
Yeah.
I loved that line. Yeah. Especially, because when we first see him, he's that shitty color blue.
Yeah.
And then as he's absorbing more and more of this universe energy, he turns yellow.
I think you can explain that because New York is powered by Iron Man technology. Under the water, right?
Yeah.
So it's like clean air towers powered by it. So a lot of their technology came from Stark, which is not in his universe.
No.
So
either of the universes you learn.
Right. So that would make the energy different.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I thought that was really well done, right? Like here we are, we're seeing all these differences between the universes, all these different dimensions and stuff. Yep. And the fact that Electro could pick up on that was really, really cool. So, which kind of leads credence to a theory that I had that early on, before we start getting more and more details, that Doc Ock recognized Spider-Man, and I thought it might have been due to his vibrational frequency. He recognized him as Peter Parker. So this highlights one of the differences in the universes. The energy in the MCU is different than the Amazing Spider-Man's universe, which is different from Spider-Man's universe. So it was, it was pretty neat to see that.
You forgot one part.
What's that?
The one line. I know y'all ain't ignoring the fact I'm buck-ass naked right now. They're getting fireman's clothes from the shed they wrecked or whatever.
Yeah. That was pretty good, yeah. So at this point,
pure Jamie Foxx.
At this point, the we'll call them the Sinister Five are all trapped by
Doctor Strange's underground laboratory,
whatever he called it. What did he call it? Not the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Undercroft or something like that. It was a strange name on it.
Basement,
which is where the laundry machines were.
Yeah,
there's a Connect 4
you got to do your laundry
there in one corner. You can see there's boxes of board games and everything.
I didn't see that, but yeah, that's
the one half that just faces the stairway is just a regular ass basement.
Is it?
I was looking at it. It's like, that's Connect 4. That's an old TV. That's old workout equipment in the corner.
One side of it looks like your average everyday basement, and the other side is a
tomb,
all these ancient ruins.
Even Ned goes look at this torture rack, and MJ goes, that's just a Pilates machine.
That's what I mean, right? There's just abandoned workout equipment in the corner.
And they were like, what's your name? And he's like, it's Otto Octavius. And they all start laughing.
So apparently Otto Octavius doesn't exist in the MCU.
Nope.
No.
Or Kirk
Interesting.
Connors.
Or Kirk Connors.
Or Max.
Or who? Or Max Dillon. Or
None of them.
Norman Osborn. No, none of them.
He even said, because he looked into his existence, he walked in, somebody else is in his house and all this stuff, right?
And there is no Oscorp.
No Oscorp. Yeah. So it was all really interesting to see that the Marvel Universe does not have the same similarities with the other universes.
No, and there's no Oscorp, and because there's no Stark Industries.
No Stark Industries in the others.
Yeah.
So Peter,
lot less superpowered beings.
Yeah.
A lot less superpowered beings. So Peter and MJ and Ned are tasked with tracking down everybody. Holy crap, we're running out of time fast on this. They're tasked with tracking
2.5 hour movie.
They're tasked with tracking down everybody, and why does Peter get separated from them, and they got to go find Peter? Because Ned realizes he's taken. Oh,
it was after. It was after. It was after they tried to help them, because Doctor Strange was going to send them all back to their universe, and they realized that all of them are like dying. Like, they end up dying, like, in their universes. And so they're like, hey, we want to help you. And Doctor Strange is like, oh, no, we're not. And he was going to just send them back. And Peter steals the cube. And then him and Doctor Strange has this big old fight.
They have this super-powered fight.
Yeah.
You learn Peter has an ability. He was disembodied, and yet his body was still fighting.
Was still able to react.
Yeah.
But you see, it was very subtle. You had to look at when he was disembodied. You can see, like, they don't do, like, the solid lines for him, like the old Ditko lines. It's, like, distortions. But his whole, everything
it's like Spidey sense.
His whole Spidey sense, his head was encased in it. It looked like air distortions.
It was still like his
while
Spidey...
he was disembodied.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that.
That's why his body was reacting, because of his Spidey sense.
He's still
And Doctor Strange is still a threat.
Okay.
So his spider sense, like... went and took over, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets back in his body. They have a big old fight. He actually defeats Doctor Strange.
Beats Doctor Strange
because he realizes
in the mirror universe where Doctor Strange is like in control.
Except for he realized it's just fractal geometry.
It's just fractal geometry,
right? And he's better at geometry than science.
Better magic, math.
Yeah. I almost wanted him to say science, bitch.
No, he should. No. He's a math magician.
He's a math magician.
Watch me make this remainder disappear.
Yeah.
And so he goes and traps him with his webs in there.
He takes the there was a name to it. I forgot. Sling ring, which makes the gates.
Yeah.
And he gives that Ned, and Ned can use it.
Yes.
Which is weird because he's untrained.
He finds out completely by accident because he's sitting there and he says something about Spider-Man, and he's got the ring on, and he spins his hand, and in the distance you see the little sparks. And then MJ's like, try that again. And he goes, Spider-Man.
I wish
we could find Spider-Man. I wish we could see Spider-Man or something like that. And
no, he's asked about finding Peter.
Peter.
Now, we're a little ahead of ourselves.
Yes, okay.
Again,
yeah.
But what happened?
So Spider-Man has this big old fight. They take the cube. They're like, we're going to try to, like, save these people.
Save them.
So he's like, you guys, I know you're all villains, but, I can push the button and you can, like, go back to your universe and die, or I can try to help you, because our technology here is a lot more advanced than your guys.
As we see later on.
Because May thought that was, what was it, an old workout machine?
An old tanning bed.
Old tanning bed.
So they go to Happy's place.
Yeah.
Where Happy has the machine.
The replication machine.
The replication machine that he made his suit in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Far From Home, yep.
So they go there. Happy sees him on the Ring camera. So he heads out that way when he finds out they're fighting and stuff. They get the chip for Dr. Octavius.
Octavius has been fixed.
Okay,
and he fixed him.
Hang on, before you go too much further, did you notice something in Happy's home?
The robot?
No. His door locks are hexagons.
They are.
Yeah.
I thought about that last night.
That's true.
So there we go. More hexagons in the MCU.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Anyway, they go and he tries to fix it. So everybody starts. Oh.
Aunt May finds Norman.
Aunt May does find Norman.
Wait. No, wait. Because they found
Norman first before they went to Happy's place.
Right.
Yeah, because they brought them all there.
And Norman was helping Peter try to fix everybody.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yes.
He says the line.
The line from Spider-Man.
That was just so great.
So he goes and he helps him fix Octavius, and he actually fixes him.
Yeah. which reveals Octavius' true nature, which we knew was not being a villain.
No, he wasn't a villain.
Literally was making the things to just help him handle hazardous material.
Which handle hazardous material, which in my mind, now that I'm thinking about it, is very similar to arc reactor technology.
Yes.
Right? So anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, and then while we're there, there's also, he sees the arc reactor, the electric guy. Electro. Yeah. Sees the arc reactor there, and he's like, ooh, look at that thing. Yeah. Anyway, what happens after that?
So Electro is behind the scenes talking to Sandman, blah, blah. I don't trust this, because he's hankering for that power like he's addicted.
Oh, and the Lizard Man is out in the truck.
Lizard Man's out in the truck, and then J. Jonah James'
crew shows up.
Yeah, and brings helicopters there, brings attention there, everything falls to pat. And Norman reveals that it's actually been Green Goblin in control, and Aunt May dies.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the big shocker, I think, of this movie, was Aunt May dies.
But going back and going
tragic.
back and finding what happens later, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
She is
so then Peter takes the cube and he runs away because the police and everybody...
No, he doesn't have the cube.
Yeah, he does.
No, May has the cube because they haven't heard from him.
Oh, yes, right. MJ has the cube. Yeah. MJ and Ned do.
MJ and Ned do, I mean.
And he runs away, and then Ned decides to see if he can find Peter.
No,
he was like, I wish we could find Peter. And then he makes a portal, and the portal opens, and what they think is Peter.
Oh, well, we see a figure in the background.
I know, but they think it's Peter because they call his name.
Yes, and he runs towards them.
And he runs towards them, and it is Peter Parker.
Yeah.
But it's not Peter Parker.
It's the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker.
It's the Amazing Spider-Man universe Peter Parker.
The Amazing Spider-Man. And the theater went batshit when he comes on screen.
Yes.
Could you ask him please get the cobwebs in the corner?
Yeah. So they do that whole little prove who you are kind of thing, and that's what he does.
He sticks himself to the ceiling.
I'm not crawling. I'm not belittling myself kind of thing.
No.
And then the grandma asks him to get a cobweb in the corner, and then he crawls across the ceiling.
Yeah.
By the way, when you look around, as we noticed, but we didn't say it on air yet, Ned's home is not just
Ned's
decorated
grandparents.
Normally. Yeah,
grandmother's home.
They're speaking like Tagalog Filipino, but that's not Filipino stuff in the background.
No. It looks very like
weapony,
like the weapons, because there's a weapons wall.
Old school,
like antique look like kind of thing. Like that's what it's kind of made out to be. Yeah. But it could be like, Shang-Chi.
I'm thinking it was Shang-Chi.
Ned was able to, was, as we just mentioned, untrained, use magical...
Well, at one point before all of this, Ned actually says, my grandmother told me I have magic, or our family has magic.
Yeah. Well, tingle in the hands.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So let's get back to the scene in the dining room.
They tried again, desperately.
They got the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker.
So they tried to find Peter Parker again.
And he does the same thing. I wish we could see Peter. I wish we could see Peter. The portal opens up, and in walks...
a cool youth pastor.
In walks Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker.
An much older version.
Older
aged in real time.
And people in the theater
lost their shit again.
Crazy.
He's in his late 30s, Peter is, because if it's in real time... It's like 25 years after.
Yeah,
he's going into his 40s.
I have a theory on that, so we'll get to that as we talk more.
Well, the two of them both have said that they've aged and they've later in their careers.
Like Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker, we'll call him the Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. So the Amazing Spider-Man basically says, as things went on in my life, I got darker and more violent.
Yes, because of him losing Gwen. Right, and it was something that he never really came back from.
Right,
and so then he got a lot darker after that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
he actually said, "I've hurt people."
And the OG Spider-Man.
So okay, so for clarity's purposes, we'll call Tobey
Peter
Maguire
2 and Peter 3.
We'll call Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
No, he's the OG.
He's the OG. Okay, OG Spidey.
Yeah,
he's Peter 3.
He is Peter 3.
Remember when they're doing the reference? And then Garfield's Peter 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Peter 2 and Peter 3 in order of appearance. Yeah. That's how they did it. Yeah, you're right. But for us, we'll say OG Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and Spider-Man. Yeah. So OG Spider-Man, like Sean said, is older, much older.
He said him and MJ made it work.
But it was complicated.
And they did, because at the end of the last movie that he did, they got married.
Yeah. So
they also got surprised the fact that he's not using web slingers.
He's not using web slingers. They were really shocked at that.
They were really shocked at that.
Yeah.
Man, I got to go to the lab and I got to make mine and all this stuff.
We run out.
We run
stuff.
out. Yeah.
Does it come out anywhere else?
That a little bit. And they questioned that a little bit, and it gets kind of funny at points. So it was nice to see. So we've got the Peters, the Peters, OG and amazing, go with Ned and MJ to the school, to Midtown High, where we see Peter Parker on the roof.
And man, Tom Hiddleston does upset really well.
Tom Hiddleston? Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston. Tom Holland.
You're
wrong Tom.
Wrong Tom.
Sorry.
You think all this time he's been on the run and just still digesting, and he finally sat down and it's all settled in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And not just that, he probably feels that he's ruined everybody's lives.
Yeah. But think about this now. So one thing that we discussed briefly while we were watching the movie, and it was very, very brief, there has not been a mention of an Uncle Ben in the MCU at all.
Briefly, there was a brief mention of him, a brief appearance, as it were, on the suitcase that Peter bought overseas.
Because it said Ben Parker.
It said it said BP.
BP.
Right.
Right.
And but he took the suitcase. But that was it.
That was it.
But OG Peter and Amazing Peter and other Peter all realize that there's always been somebody in their life
they've lost.
And OG Peter and current Peter was like even the same thing said to them. Like Ben said it to him and May said it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, with great
But this is the thing, right? Like these things that happened to OG Peter, with Ben dying and saying with great power comes great responsibility, happened before his Spider-Man career.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Amazing Peter, with the death of Gwen, that solidified him as the hero, blah, blah, blah. But now we're talking about the MCU Peter, where he's deep into his career as Spider-Man,
and not even 18.
Only hearing this now.
Yeah.
Right? So up until now, he has not had the same sacrifices as the other two.
The only thing even come close to him was when he lost Tony.
When he lost when Tony lost him. And then
He lost Tony.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't remember when Tony lost him.
No, that's right. You're right.
He lost Tony.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, we got 2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes, so they have a fight.
They have a big old fight all together.
We're just gonna have to keep going. We still got so much to cover here. So.
No, they have a big fight all together at the Statue of Liberty, which is not actually Statue of Liberty.
Good.
And because she has a shield. And a sword. And so they have this big old fight, and
everybody gets cured.
Because they plan, and they're like, we don't been on a team before.
And
he's
Ock even shows up to help out.
Yep.
And the MCU Peter was like, I've been on team 4. I've been in the Avengers. And they're like, cool. What's the Avengers?
Band? Is that a band?
Are you in a band? So
that was priceless. That was really great.
They all work together.
And they kind of offhandedly did that. Pointing where they're all standing around trying to figure, and as they're talking to each other, they're pointing. So it was kind of a reference to that.
So they all work together, defeated the bad guys. They defeated Norman Osborn, which was the last guy. Peter did not kill him because Tobey Maguire,
killed the Goblin,
OG Spider-Man, stepped in and kept him from doing so because he probably knew how dark it would be if he actually killed him, and he got stabbed.
But it's okay because
he got stabbed lots. And they cured him. They cured him, and it was kind of like the finalization of his arc, the OG Spider-Man's arc. And then when MJ fell and the Amazing Spider-Man caught her, it was like the closure of his redemption kind of thing.
You see it in his face.
Yeah.
And then, so Peter finally had to go back, and the spell came apart.
No, the little spell came apart and started breaking everything apart, but he came up with a solution.
Toby
cast a spell where nobody remembers that who he is.
And not that he's not Spider-Man,
but who he is.
Yeah, nobody knew Peter Parker.
Nobody knew Peter Parker.
And then he had to see his friends that nobody knew Peter Parker.
Again there, buddy.
Yeah.
Nobody had to knew Peter Parker, who he was. None of his friends. So happy. Nobody
knew him.
And then it was like, okay.
And he moves into a dinky little apartment.
Yeah. Like most of the other Spider-Mans have to.
Most of the other Spider-Men have.
Rent's due on the first month.
And he makes a new outfit.
Which looks like the classic outfit.
Which looks a lot like the classic. Well, I would say, it
basically
looks identical.
Even down to the colors.
Yep.
The color palette itself.
And that's pretty much where they leave it. Until we see the mid-credit scene.
Mid-credit scene, which had Venom.
Yep.
As
Where
a
he's
drunk white girl.
As a drunk white girl?
in the bar in Mexico.
In the bar in Mexico?
Trying to basically get explained to him the
And he
last
gets-
5 years.
Yes.
And he gets blipped back to his own
his
universe
own
when
universe.
everybody
Right
else
before he
gets
wants to
blipped
go
back.
skinny dipping.
And he leaves a piece of himself
He
behind,
leaves a piece of himself.
which I didn't understand.
No.
And I still
They'll
don't
probably
understand.
explain it. But at the very end,
We get a trailer for the
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
too.
And in
Multiverse
that
Madness.
trailer, we see Dark Strange from What If.
Yep.
Yes, we do.
We
well,
do.
What If has never been treated as separate? It's been
No.
treated as it's totally there. Like some people go, they don't.
No.
this is
What
totally
What
there.
If is part of the
Yeah.
MCU.
That's
It's
what I
part
mean,
of the
right?
continuity.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, What If even plays into Loki because
Yeah.
it's the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
These
Oh,
are,
absolutely.
These are timelines they try to erase.
Anybody who thinks that the What If series was just
Yeah.
like this offshoot, no, it's part. You are going to learn very quickly. It's part of canon.
Didn't
It
they
is.
say the new season's coming up this year again?
Yeah, there's going to
2022,
be
yeah, there's a new
there's going to be
season.
another
Good,
episode.
good, good.
There's
Yeah,
going to be
okay.
another season of it.
Okay, Toby, I don't know what you're doing, but
He's just like
just
putting his
sniffing.
head
He's
down.
just head
sniffing stuff that he shouldn't.
Look, he
Dude,
doesn't
I
do the
showered.
follow-through.
I showered, dude. So that pretty much wrapped up Spider-Man No Way Home. My leg is cramping. My leg is cramping. My leg is cramping.
Oh no.
Just hang on.
Okay.
I got to straighten out now, so it's going to be okay.
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 I give it a good solid 8.5.
Oh my God, I give it an 11.
No.
I thought it
I'm
was
about
amazing.
There was parts of it. There was parts of it that were a little drawn out. There was a couple plot holes. There was things that people did out of character, like you said, Doctor Strange casting the spell on that. I kind of was like, okay,
that brings it down to about
Well, they
a
didn't even
10.5
plan
for
it.
me.
right?
A spell like that is that like involved as this shouldn't be just haphazardly like done.
No.
They sit down with like paper and pen because as a teenager with
Right
the attention
now,
span.
that being said, if they explain some of the plot holes away and they like in new MCU material, then I would give it like a 9.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll get some meanwhiles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
Where was Wong going?
He was going to. Oh, good question.
Yeah. Where was he going?
Where was he going?
Who were those people?
Who were those people? That's a good question.
Why did they leave him in the sanctum by themselves?
The rumor that was around Wong leaving when the trailers first came out was he was going to fight at
Shang-Chi.
in Shang-Chi at
In the movie, at the
the
end.
cage matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not where he was going.
No.
There's an
it was
outdoor
not.
setting there in the mountains
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is the Sorcerer Supreme, so maybe.
Could be Tibet.
Who are those people?
Who were those people?
Why were those people
I think
left
they're
alone in the
Siberian.
Sanctum Sanctorum?
No, I think
Why
that's
did Doctor Strange go, yeah, man, we're going to make a spell where everybody doesn't remember you? Like, that seems very, like, to a point, it seemed like a good idea, but at the same point, it's like, okay, wouldn't Doctor Strange want to eliminate himself from the spell? Wouldn't he ask Peter, like, was there anybody you wanted? If he could adjust the spell the way he wanted
before
they cast it, shouldn't he have done that?
I want to say yes.
He's
but
smart enough to
But
that.
I think in the interest of totality, he was just like, we're just going to blanket bomb this.
but like,
bomb it.
but you have to think like Avengers. You know, he was like, okay, so who's going to run Stark Industries now?
Yeah, because he was in charge of Stark.
He was in charge of Stark Industries. Like, what's that going to do?
Yeah.
Like, his Aunt May is just going to forget that she has a nephew. Like,
That man's dead.
Dead.
well, not at the time.
No, it
Yeah,
was.
he was.
It was. It was right at the end, and anything that happened still happened because MJ still has her.
I meant
cut.
not at the time that he cast the spell.
Yeah. Oh, the original.
The original
casting.
spell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the original spell. Like,
Yeah.
why did Doctor Strange not say, hey, man, like,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you want everybody to forget, or like so many people, like normal people? Like, how about the Avengers, your Aunt May?
Yeah.
Like,
I see what you're saying now. Yeah.
I know, it just seemed like-
It kind of just jumped into it.
yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It was very on Doctor Strange like.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Very on
There was
Doctor
a
Strange.
there was a little plot hole there. I hope they do something about it. In the
Marvel
next
is
movie.
really good for plugging those plot holes and
Hope so.
showing things that happened off screen that we haven't seen before, which leads me back to, we got 5 minutes, leads me back to Hawkeye here for a second. So in the opening scenes of Hawkeye, we see what happens with Black Widow 2, we'll call her, with Yelena,
Yeah.
where she blips out of existence
She got snapped.
and then blips right back.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's what happened. But we've never
On their end, yeah.
we've never seen it from the blipped point of view before.
Yeah, we have
No, we haven't.
Monica.
No, we saw them what?
Monica from the,
Did we?
Yeah, from WandaVision.
But
She
did we-
blipped right back into the hospital. Showed it from her point of view. She went right back where she was.
But we didn't see her blip
We
away.
didn't see her blip away.
Well, that's what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah, like
She was in the bathroom looking at herself in
looking
the
at
mirror.
herself
she
in the
started blipping
mirror,
away.
and then like she blipped and disincorporated or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the same moment, because
Everything happened
everything
simultaneously, kind of thing.
she starts coming back together, and you see stuff changing around her, like the wallpaper color and the mirror
Yeah,
shape.
well, it happened to Monica too in the hospital room. When she started coming back together, the hospital room changed around her.
Okay. So that goes back to, we got 4 minutes. That goes back to one thing we've talked about frequently after Endgame happened was there are now people appearing in the sky
Yeah.
because they were on planes.
Yeah.
People appearing in boats that are no longer there.
So, but
in cars
I'm wondering,
that are no longer there.
I'm wondering though if people, when they blip back, like if they were in the air, would they land on the ground in the place where they were when the airplane disappeared?
Good question.
Hopefully they wouldn't.
Or they appeared actually in the airplane itself somewhere else because locations.
Hopefully, yeah, it might be a location thing too. Like maybe they ended up on the airplane that they came from.
It's an interesting question.
Not the geographical location, but the
See,
actual physical location.
For what we've seen so far, though, because in Far From Home and now in Hawkeye, people showed up exactly where they
Yeah.
blipped from.
Yeah.
Aunt May said she showed right up in the apartment again.
She showed up in the apartment
Yeah.
again, right? So that to me would mean like if we were to blip now,
We'd be right back here.
We'd be right back here in 5 years.
Yeah.
Even
be
if,
sitting on someone's lap.
even if the building wasn't here,
Yeah.
we'd pop back here. So that means anybody that was in an airplane or on a boat or in a submarine or on a train and cars would blip back at exactly that geographical location.
Maybe.
So people fell out of the sky. People
That'd be awful.
drowned.
That'd be awful.
People were in a train that no longer exists because
How
it
about
had
on a subway? Yeah.
subway.
Unless when Tony snapped his fingers, there was an actual thought as to.
I'm
Because
just
it isn't
thinking
just Earth
maybe.
either.
No,
there were
yeah, it
people
was everywhere.
transiting between
I'm just thinking-
planets and stuff. That's the
Realistically, if
universe.
that was the case, then nobody would be where they were, and everybody would be out in space.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah,
Heisenberg principle.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep,
because
they would
the Earth
had moved.
moves. The Earth moves by a fraction every year.
Yeah.
Like
Well, not
we're
just
no
that,
longer
it
in the
is-
same orbit.
That's the
That,
Heisenberg principle.
that is scary
Yeah.
when you think about it.
Yeah, so maybe it's the actual physical location. Like if they blipped out of a moving subway train, that same subway train they blip back to. No matter where that subway train, if it's decommissioned on a racks on a train off a train somewhere, they will be back
They'll
in
be
that.
back. Kevin Feige, you need to answer this question for us. We need a definitive answer to this question. Are people falling out of the sky and drowning in oceans and sitting on a subway track and getting hit by subways? You need to answer this question for us at some point in the future in the MCU. It needs to be answered. Because all indications to me seem like you pop back where you left.
Yeah.
Not if you were on this particular plane.
I
It was
know,
like you're
but-
in the middle of the sky, you're going to follow the sky. That's the way I feel.
We got a minute.
We got a minute
Okay.
left. Yeah.
I was
So that's
trying to
about it.
signal.
So in this minute, I'm going to fill in plans for the next couple of weeks. We're going to take 2 weeks off, guys.
Okay.
Because next week is Boxing Day, and the week after is the day after New Year's Day. And quite frankly, I'm probably still going to be hungover. I'm sure you guys might be as well. So we're going to take 2 weeks off. We'll be back on January 9th, I think it is. Sunday, January.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I don't have a calendar.
Right there.
in front of
Next
me.
page.
It's right there. It's next page. I'm just keeping an eye on the thing because we're going to keep.
Yeah, 9th.
January 9th. So we'll be back on January 9th, 2022. And that's it for us for 2021, ladies and gents and all other peoples out there.
Stay safe over holidays.
Stay safe over the holidays. Be careful with COVID. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. And join us back here. Same
Geek
Geek
time.
Same Geek channel on January 9th, 2022.
Good night.
Say Merry Christmas, Geeks.
Merry Christmas.
And good night.
And good night.